Hello, my name is Roger today, and I am a recovering alcoholic. I'm going to read the Daily Reflections book for October 7th, 2025. It's called Daily Monitoring. Continue to take personal inventory. ... That's from the 12 Steps to 12 Traditions book, page 88. The spiritual axiom referred to in the 10th step: every time we are disturbed, no matter what the cause, there's something wrong with us, also tells me that there are no exceptions to it. No matter how unreasonable others may seem, I am responsible for not reacting negatively. Regardless of what is happening around me, I will always have the prerogative and the responsibility of choosing what happens within me. I am the creator of my own reality. When I take my daily inventory, I know that I must stop judging others. If I judge others, I am probably judging myself. Whoever is upsetting me most is my best teacher. I have much to learn from him or her, and in my heart I should thank that person. Period. The end of the reading. Many years ago, I was reading a book called Chop Wood, Carry Water, and it's got 3 authors. That's the best I can remember right now, and it's a book about, let's just call it meditation. And I think in that book I first stumbled across this kind of idea. When I take my daily inventory, I know that I must stop judging others. If I judge others, I am probably judging myself. Whoever is upsetting me most is my best teacher, and I have much to learn from him or her, and in my heart I should thank that person. So in that book, Chop Wood, Carry Water, I think many years ago I discovered the thing that really helped me. Doesn't mean I started using it or practicing it. I read that same kind of sentiment, and it made sense to me that if I'm looking at a situation and I start judging, I think that's what it's saying. When I take my daily inventory and I know that I must stop judging others. If I judge them, that's because I'm probably judging myself. And what I stumbled across in my own use eventually, I didn't start using it right away, and I still don't use it all the time because I'm lazy. I'm human. I make mistakes. Those are some prime reasons. Is that when I see somebody doing something that aggravates me, makes me angry, say, and then I start calling them all kinds of names in my head, one reason I think that I pick up on that behavior, or I spot that out of all the other things I could be doing, looking at, thinking about, and I zero in on the one thing that's aggravating me, and then I start judging it, is because the reason why it's that instead of something else is because that behavior or action is so intimately familiar to me because I do it a lot myself also. But I just choose to ignore that or figure I have that option or luxury, or it's okay for me but not for them. Something like that. Anyhow, the point is that I pick up on other people's flawed and mistakes and flawed personalities and mistakes, because those are the things that are flawed and not operating correctly within myself. So I'm very familiar with them. Now, if I start judging them, I don't think that's going to help anybody. Even if they could understand what I was trying to put across to them by judging them, what kind of authority would I have in their life? Very likely they're not going to listen to me. So that idea isn't such a bright one. What I should be doing is thanking. When I take my daily inventory, I know that I must stop judging others. If I judge others, I am probably judging myself. Whoever is upsetting me most is my best teacher. I have much to learn from him or her, and in my heart I should thank that person. So rather than judging these people, well, maybe, that's going to be out in the margin somewhere, where you're not going to, that won't be your first option right away. But eventually, maybe we can stop judging other people, take a look at that situation, and figure out or ask, hey, am I noticing that above all this other stuff that I could be noticing? Because it's familiar to me. And usually when I see one of these things, it's like, that's so stupid. And then I'm thinking, this is how I would do it. Why aren't they doing it that way? And this is all usually internal. And I become aggravated watching somebody stumble along with something or struggle or do something foolish or whatever it is that aggravates me. It's odd that I don't recall it ever happening. So, never mind that thing. So I look at this behavior that aggravates me. I determine that's probably because that's what I look like when I'm doing that same thing. And people are judging me or whatever. And then, why don't I judge myself? It's just like, look at this other person. I would do it this way. And okay. Now, I should, rather than continuing to judge and criticize internally, my thought process might be more helpful to thank that person for demonstrating to me one of my flaws, like an actor in a movie or a script or a play or something. It's like, oh, wow, look at that. What a nice demonstration of a fool. And then I realize, oh, wait, that's me. I get it now. And then I should thank that person rather than judge and criticize them. Maybe not outright go up to this person and go, thank you for being a buffoon, or however you're feeling. Just be thankful that you were able to see that and thank that person. And I would go to this point and pray for them to get over that problem. Because if they were just demonstrating or acting out what you appear to be to them, and you pick up on that, because when you look at other people, the things we pick up and notice mostly, I think, again, this is probably from that book, Chop Wood, Carry Water. It's like looking into a mirror. When we look at other people and we start, let's just say, noticing things, that's because they're like holding up a mirror to ourselves. It's not a real mirror. I don't know where my mirror is. It's when we notice these behaviors that's like a mirror. And we should thank that person and pray for their well-being, let's say. Pray that they're able to fix that, because that's probably what's wrong with us. And once we become aware of a problem, that's important for a preliminary or a primary thing. If you're not aware of something failing, you don't know. And then it fails. and then you're stuck wherever it broke. So once we become aware of something, we can start to take action, hopefully before it actually has a catastrophic failure and strands us somewhere, or perhaps kills us, before something worse can happen. We become aware of something needing some help, some adjustment or something, and then we can act upon it because we become aware that it's needing adjustment. We make that adjustment, hopefully before it gets any worse. There. And I could quit here. Do you think I will? No, I won't, because how it opens today, it says daily monitoring, continue to take personal inventory, ... Those dots, I believe that's called an ellipsis, meaning there's more after this. So, this is but an excerpt from a longer piece of text. The 12 Steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. It's the 10th month, October, so we're talking about 10th step things mainly here. Or that's what I'm trying to do. That's how this book is set up, I believe. So the 10th step, and I just hold this up like that so you know that I'm reading it from here, says, continue to take personal inventory, ... No, this is the full meal deal. Continue to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Now, in the reading today, it said, the spiritual axiom referred to in the 10th step, and I don't know where they pulled this from, probably the big book. I'm almost certain. And I bet if you go look in the 12 by 12, the 12 Steps, 12 Traditions book, page 88, you'll find it there. Because this book is just a jewel of information on the AA program. Page 88. Which is the page that step 10 begins at. Bam. Step 10, continue to take personal inventory, blah, 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 ... As we work the first 9, we prepare ourselves for the adventure of a new life. But when we approach step 10, we commence to put our AA way of living to practical use day by day in fair weather or foul. Then comes the acid test. We can stay sober. Can we stay sober, keep in emotional balance, and live to good purpose under all conditions, ? That was from a few days ago. The acid test. Here, I'm going to just read a tiny excerpt out of here because I'm becoming captivated. Although all inventories are alike in principle, the time factor does distinguish one from another. There's the spot check inventory taken at any time of the day whenever we find ourselves getting tangled up. There's the one we take at day's end when we review the happenings of the hours just past. Here we cast up a balance sheet, crediting ourselves with things well done and chalking up debits where due. Then there are those occasions when alone or in the company of our sponsor or spiritual advisor. We make a careful review of our progress since the last time. Many AAs go in for annual or semi-annual house cleanings. Many of us also like the experience of an occasional retreat from the outside world where we can quiet down for an undisturbed day or so of self-overhaul and meditation. That seems like that seems quite elaborate. However, very useful. You can do that just right at home, I do believe. If you have a day off from work, try and do that thing. A retreat from everything for the day. Anyhow, why did I say that? Although all inventories are alike in principle, comma, or dot, dot, dot. Somewhere in the recent past, on one of these readings, I mentioned that this inventory that we take in step 4 made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves, period. That's step 4. And then step 8, we made a list of all people we had harmed. I'm paraphrasing. Step 9, made direct amends for these infractions, unless it's going to hurt somebody. And then 10, I made the point, I hope, yesterday that, man, you know, and I only read the reading once, and then I just got to talking at length about why we do step 10. A continued daily inventory, or continue to take personal inventory, dot, dot, dot. Why? Is because when we do the step 4 thing, made a fearless and searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Let me go right back to this book. Although all inventories are alike in principle, dot, dot, dot. There's really not that many really, I mean, the things that alcoholics, let's say, discover in a moral inventory are, I'm just going to hazard and use this book as my little bit of backup, quite similar to another alcoholic looking at a moral inventory. And then that can be traced to just several different little principal things, I think. It's not like thousands. It may be in the tens. I highly doubt that. It's going to be like less than 10 principal things that an alcoholic, or really anybody's doing, morally unacceptable or harmful or something, that's like the root to just a plethora of other bad behaviors, I think. So it isn't overwhelming, really. It's like a couple of things that if you can fine-tune, adjust, make some kind of adjustment, maybe you'll get better. So, every time we are disturbed, no matter what the cause, there's something wrong with us. Maybe it's one of those things. I think yesterday I used the example, one of my things is dishonesty. That can take many forms. I used one example quite a while back. Say I ask you, may I borrow $10? And you give me the $10. Or may I borrow $10? I'll pay you back tomorrow. I promise. Or I promise. And you give me the $10, you don't hear from me again for 15 years. Not a phone call, not a postcard, not a text, not a letter, no messenger coming up and telling you, hey, that guy, here's the $10. Nothing, just nada. And then I come upon doing this 8th step thing. I make a list of people I had harmed. Step 9, I try and make an amend. I find you. I've got the $10. I want to apologize, number 1, for not telling you why I didn't pay you the $10. And here's the $10. Done. Now I've got a clear conscience. And maybe you feel better too. Why did I bring that up? I forget. Oh, dishonesty. So in some manner that was dishonest. I ask you for $10. You give it to me, and then I said I was going to pay you back tomorrow, and I don't do that. That's dishonest in one way. There's other things. We might omit facts. We might tell part of the truth, but not the whole truth. That, I believe, is being dishonest. You asked me where I was last night, and I tell you something completely not the truth. Oh, I was at church all night practicing with the choir, dear. And, that's just an outright lie, maybe, for me. So, that's being dishonest. So there's all these different things like this that stem from dishonesty. And I'm sure there's many other examples. And what I like to do, or what I used to like, well, no, I still do this. When I'm looking at anything, I'm going to guess that's accurate. When I'm looking at anything, I'm looking for a loophole. Some way I can cheat. But I think it's cheating in a good way, because I want to cheat in a way that I can do it with the less expenditure of energy. And there's a lot of things where that's helpful or can be done. Man, I'm going to run out of time here. What do we got here? 21 minutes, 28 seconds. This thing will shut me off in 30 seconds. So let's have part 2. Why not? And talk about this cheating and looking for loopholes and being lazy because we're human. That's my excuse. Thank you for coming here. I'll get back with you later in part 2, I hope, today. Goodbye.